This is CBN NewsWatch.
It is Tuesday, February 23rd. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, big debates in Washington. One over the size of the massive coronavirus relief stimulus bill now in Congress, costing nearly $2 trillion. Republicans say it's too expensive, but Democrats are pushing ahead. And the hearings begin for another controversial nominee today, Xavier Becerra, to head up the Health and Human Services Department. Critics call him divisive because of his track record favoring abortion rights. Religious freedom under assault. Many Christians wondering what will become of religious liberty under the Biden administration. And a story of faith as Tamika Miller, the widow of a victim of a police shooting, talks about how her faith has gotten her through and how she believes God will bring something good from the tragedy. All those stories and more are ahead in this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We want to begin this half hour with a debate in Washington over the Democratic spending bill to help the economy recover from the lockdowns during the COVID-19 pandemic. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris commemorated a grim milestone Monday evening, 500,000 Americans now dead from the virus. But while Americans joined together in grief, on Capitol Hill, the two parties are disagreeing on the size of the stimulus spending package. The House bill costs $1.9 trillion. It includes a $1,400 stimulus check for most Americans and an extension of $400 weekly federal unemployment benefits. But Republicans object to many of the provisions in the bill, leading to this challenge from the president.
Let me ask them, what would they have me cut? What would they have me leave out?
One provisions, Republicans object to money to make schools safer during this pandemic, but that funding is not conditioned on the schools reopening, which some Republicans are pushing back against.
This idea that Washington should be giving out $100+ million of new money to schools and not even requiring them to reopen, that's an insult to those children who are demanding that they go back to school.
A Wall Street Journal editorial estimates only about $825 billion of the bill relates to COVID relief. The Journal says the rest of the bill, more than $1 trillion, is a combination of bailouts for Democratic constituencies, expansions of progressive programs, pork, and unrelated policy changes. The bill is expected to pass in the House. Another controversy on Capitol Hill, the confirmation hearing for Xavier Becerra to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. It begins today. Critics using that nomination as a major reason to believe the Biden administration will be the most pro-abortion ever because of Becerra's track record on abortion. CBN's White House correspondent Ben Kennedy brings us the story now from Washington.
To build back a prosperous America, we need a healthy America.
Xavier Becerra comes to this role after more than 20 years in Congress and succeeding Kamala Harris as California Attorney General. Now he's preparing for his new role in leading the agency most involved with regulating abortion. That worries pro-life advocates.
If we had a list of the worst people to choose, certainly Xavier Becerra would be at the top of the list.
Nance calls Becerra a pro-abortion activist based on his court cases.
There's the famous Supreme Court case of NIFLA versus Becerra, in which Xavier Becerra was trying to force crisis pregnancy centers to promote abortion. We had to take that case all the way to the Supreme Court.
The Little Sisters of the Poor also took their case to court after Becerra tried to stand in the way of them wanting to not pay for abortion-causing contraceptives in their health plans. Becerra also supported charging undercover journalist David Daleiden with 10 felony counts, stemming from his 2015 videotape exposing Planned Parenthood's alleged involvement in the trafficking of aborted baby body parts. Critics have lined up to fight the nomination. In a tweet, Senator Tom Cotton said Becerra spent his career attacking pro-life Americans. Congressman Dan Crenshaw agreed, calling Becerra the worst possible cabinet choice. The Susan B. Anthony list went further, saying Becerra is aggressively pro-abortion and a foe of free speech. And not all in Biden's own party might be on board with the appointment. Kristen Day of Democrats for Life tells CBN News some congressional Democrats will fight some of the administration's pro-abortion policies.
He's not a doctor.
Becerra's qualifications are also in question, with critics saying the 62-year-old is not a medical professional and has no public health experience. The new commander-in-chief disagrees, though, highlighting Becerra's effort on health care and fighting to protect the Affordable Care Act. Rick Pollock, president and CEO of the American Hospital Association, calls Becerra a champion for affordable health access and coverage and the right person to lead the nation through the pandemic.
Crisis tested, defined by a deep sense of duty, honor, and patriotism. They're already ready to jump in, and they're going to be ready on day one to spare not a single effort to get this pandemic under control.
Given the current COVID picture, combined with Democrats barely controlling the Senate, Becerra is expected to be confirmed despite likely Republican opposition over issues like abortion. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, Washington.
The head of the San Francisco School Board has put a controversial plan on hold to rename 44 schools named after famous people in history like Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. The move has been delayed until students are back on campus. School Board President Gabriela Lopez announced the decision Sunday. The board voted 6-1 in late January to remove the names of Lincoln, Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Paul Revere, and well-known historical figures from schools because of their direct or broad ties to slavery and racism. That led to a backlash over focusing on renaming schools during a pandemic and a recall petition against Lopez and others. I want to turn overseas now to the Middle East. Iran and the United States locked in a face-off over the Iranian nuclear deal, and Israel is caught in the middle. How did Iran raise the stakes over the weekend? And how could this deadly stalemate reverberate throughout the Middle East? Chris Mitchell explains from Israel's northern border.
Sunday, the head of the UN nuclear watchdog announced Iran will provide less access to its atomic program. The move is a response to U.S. refusal to lift sanctions, which Iran is demanding as a condition to return to the negotiating table. Some warn if negotiations lead to sanctions relief, it would begin a financial chain reaction in the region.
If more money would go to the IRGC, to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, it would mean more money for Hezbollah in Lebanon, more money for Hezbollah in Syria, or the other proxies of Iran in Syria, in Yemen, in Iraq, and more instability in general to the Middle East.
You're already seeing Iran show tremendous aggression. It is increasing rapidly its enrichment of uranium, now to high-level enrichments that, very, very close to bomb-making capacity.
Middle East observer Joel Rosenberg fears negotiations could force Israel to strike first.
That with Biden trying to get back into the nuclear deal, Israel might decide it has to take preemptive military action against Iran's nuclear facilities. And then what would be Iran's counterpunch? Almost certainly it would be by ordering the Hezbollah military to fire its 150,000 or so missiles and rockets here at Israel, which would be devastating.
A war of words has already begun on Israel's northern border. Israel's defense minister Benny Gantz declared Lebanon's ground would tremble if Hezbollah attacked, while Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah boasted his military can hit anywhere in Israel, and that Israel would not see anything like it since the founding of the state. Just days ago, Israel's Air Force launched an exercise that simulated 3,000 strikes on Hezbollah targets within 24 hours.
That's a great capability, and it's a message to Hezbollah. We know where you are, and we will get you.
Israel's military predicted in 2021 that Hezbollah does not want to enter into a full-scale war. But in 2006, the Second Lebanon War began with a small ambush. So they know anything could happen here on the Israeli-Lebanese border.
Here in the north, every small match can fuel a huge explosion.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News on the Israeli-Lebanese border.
Back here at home, Amazon has removed a conservative author's best-selling book about the transgender movement without offering him any notice or explanation. Ryan T. Anderson, president of the Ethics and Public Policy Center, discovered Sunday his book, When Harry Became Sally, Responding to the Transgender Movement, had been removed from the web store. Several prominent conservative voices criticized Amazon for the move, calling it censorship. Coming up, one of former President Trump's strongest issues was religious freedom, but now with him out of office, many Christians are wondering what's ahead for religious liberty in America. We're going to take a look at that question when we come back.
suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. Whoa! It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
No Super Falls, man.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Your news channel. Your shows. The stories you care about. Anytime you want. Anywhere you want. Download the CBN News app today.
Former President Donald Trump took strong stands on behalf of religious freedom, including free speech for pastors, pro-life policies, and unprecedented support for Israel. With him out of office, many Christians have been asking, what's ahead for America now? Jennifer Wishon has the story.
It's no secret. President Biden has different ideas when it comes to religious liberty. And that has many evangelicals asking a simple question.
What will America look like in a post-Trump era?
Nobody's done what we have done.
Pastor Jack Hibbs appears in Trump 2024, The World After Trump, a documentary that examines the possibility.
President Donald Trump fought for religious freedom like no other president in modern history. It was important to him that we gave the people the word. He would often say to the pastors, give your flocks the word, which I thought was an amazing statement that a U.S. president would tell pastors to give people the word of God.
Trump's push of free speech for pastors, pro-life policies, and a level of support for Israel never imagined by previous presidents offered a stark change to President Obama's numerous decisions that put Christians on edge. His administration continuously went after groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor, who opposed the Obamacare mandate of providing contraception and abortion-inducing drugs to their employees. And the president's famous evolution on gay marriage emboldened the LGBTQ agenda that today demands conformity by Christians. Now, many Americans wonder if the Biden administration will be a reboot of his time working for President Obama.
I kind of sense, and I hope I'm wrong, I really want to be wrong, that a door could be closing on our religious freedoms. I want to stick my foot in that door as long as possible so that we might do good.
In his first 100 days, President Biden has vowed to pass the Equality Act, which elevates the rights of gay, lesbian, and transgendered people over those of Christians and other faiths.
It treats the people who believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, or that we're created male and female. It treats our beliefs as the equivalent of racist bigotry.
The Equality Act goes further, removing conscience protections that allow doctors and nurses to refuse to perform abortions, and gutting the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which passed nearly unanimously in 1993. That part would leave people of faith without legal recourse when their freedoms are trampled, a move that would mark a major departure from existing federal law.
No piece of federal legislation that has ever been passed has ever said that.
The measure passed the House last year, but was blocked in the Senate.
No person should be discriminated against in America. No one.
Senator James Lankford and other critics argue Christians and other people of faith must be free to live out their beliefs. The new Democrat majority in Washington is also under pressure to pass the Do No Harm Act, proposed last year by then Senator Kamala Harris. Supporters say it prevents the Religious Freedom Restoration Act from being used as a weapon to challenge LGBT protections, pro-abortion policies, and birth control access. Religious freedom advocates, however, maintain that despite its name, the Do No Harm Act rips the heart out of a law designed to give Christians and others legal options when the government tramples on their rights. Debates on all these are coming. And while it's important to advocate for religious freedom, Pastor Hibbs points out it's even more important to practice your faith when you're free to do so.
We had 4 years of liberty and freedom. That's just about now to be recorded in history. What did we do with that freedom? Did we preach Christ? Did we love our neighbors? Did we get out and help those that are less fortunate?
Important reflections as many Christians watch with interest how the Biden administration handles the constitutional issue of religious liberty. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Still ahead, she says her faith is what sustained her since she lost her husband when he was shot by an Atlanta police officer last year. We'll hear from Tamika Miller, the widow of Rayshard Brooks, about why she believes God will bring good from this tragedy right after this.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us.
Watch breaking news, exclusive stories and programs, credible news reporting.
We show you what's happening in the world and how you can pray about it.
This is CBN NewsWatch, because truth matters. Weekdays at 5 on the CBN News Channel.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. Whoa! It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man coming.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
She never imagined she'd be a widow, yet a widow so young. Tamika Miller says faith alone has sustained her since the shooting death of her husband, Rayshard Brooks, by an Atlanta police officer last June. What message does Tamika want people to remember, and why does she believe God will bring good from this tragedy? Eric Phillips explores those questions.
This is where Rayshard Brooks was shot back in June. At the time, there was a Wendy's restaurant here. As you can see, it's now an empty lot. The building may be gone, but the wounds are still fresh, especially for his wife.
I never thought that I would be a widow this young. It's been really hard. Up and down, I feel like my life has been a roller coaster, pretty much, but I keep the faith.
Tamika Miller says only faith has been able to sustain her these last several months.
It's hard. It's so hard not to be angry. It's so hard not to feel vengeance.
Now, there are just reminders of what continues to haunt Miller. It happened June 12th after police were called to this Wendy's in southwest Atlanta because 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks had fallen asleep in his car while in the drive-thru line. Video shows that after some calm conversation, officers gave Brooks a breathalyzer, determined he was intoxicated, and tried to cuff him. That's when the situation spun out of control. During a scuffle with officers, Brooks grabbed one of the officers' taser. He ran and looked back, pointing the taser as if he was going to shoot it. That's when Officer Garrett Rolfe fired 3 shots, 2 of them striking Brooks. He died at the hospital following surgery.
When they knocked on my door, they were telling me to identify my husband and that he had been murdered.
When she learned the details that her husband had grabbed an officer's taser, she was baffled.
What was it that made him feel in danger to grab it? In order for him to go to that extent, he felt in danger. This is right after George Floyd, and we watched it together. This is right after Breonna Taylor and my husband. We watched those things. We kept tabs on stuff like this.
Adding to the tragedy, it happened the same week of their 8-year-old daughter's birthday.
She understood very well that her daddy wasn't going to make it to take her skating, and her daddy wasn't going to come back. There were so many promises that was made that wasn't kept because they took my husband.
Officer Rolfe was fired from the Atlanta PD and charged with murder. The other officer, Devin Brosnan, was charged with aggravated assault. Miller hasn't watched any of the body cam video from that night yet. She's still building up the courage. In the meantime, she doesn't want her husband's death to be in vain. It's why she took part in the March on Washington anniversary back in August with many others who've experienced similar pain.
I want to see change. Change in policing. Change in our black men being scared of officers when they see them. Because most of them are scared. You hear sirens, I see them run. And they don't even know why they're running. They're just scared.
Atlanta pastor Jamal Bryant was there too.
The frustration of this generation is that we've not seen justice. The killer of Trayvon Martin is free. Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, all the way down, nobody has gone to jail. We're not declaring war on the police. We want the police to be accountable. We want somebody to be held responsible.
Miller says God is even using her tragic circumstance for good.
He's using me as a testimony to help someone else and let them know if I got through it, you can do the same. So I want people to remember to keep having faith in God and stay focused. Don't let people change you and make you bitter because of a tragedy. Don't become cold because of the hate that's going on right now.
Tamika tells me if she has her way, this space will soon be used to benefit the community. Either way, she plans to follow God's leading and use her newfound voice for good. Eric Phillips, CBN News, Atlanta.
Coming up, actress Candace Cameron Bure's new One Step Closer study Bible hits a milestone in sales. We're going to hear who the Bible was designed for from Candace herself when we come back.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians
in Iran are routinely arrested.
Catholic Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Watch Christian World News, Saturday at 5 p.m. Protect your sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet. From Washington, D.C., uncompromising stories, interviews, and analysis from veteran journalists David Brody.
It's a 50-50 deadlock pretty much in the Senate.
Jenna Browder.
Meanwhile, doctors believe the newly discovered California variant is behind a massive wave of new cases.
Ben Kennedy.
He is sworn in as the 46th president.
Bringing you the political news that matters.
We're people who are committed to protecting the most weakest and the most vulnerable.
Watch Faith Nation, weeknights at 6.
Actress Candace Cameron Bure shared news her new One Step Closer Bible is the #1 seller in the Christian faith books category on Amazon. Bure says she's excited. So many people want to read God's Word and dig deeper into it and know His truth. The study Bible uses the New Living Translation, which Bure says is easy to read and uses modern-day English. On Instagram, she explained who this Bible is for.
There's even other translations that almost read like letters, but this stays incredibly close to the Greek and the Hebrew and all of that, but using modern day language. So that's what the New Living
You can watch her video on the Bible study at cbnnews.com. Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. I want to leave you with this message, and perhaps you will post tag, tweet, and share it with those in your circle. Your isolation is not time alone. In that solitude, God's presence is easier to see, feel, and hear. He's with you, and He wants your attention. With that word, savor the solitude and don't rush to fill this quiet time with people and noise. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. I want to remind you, you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us. The address is right there at the bottom of your screen. It's newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. We thank you so much for your watching. Make it a terrific Tuesday. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.